This is Josiah Plays Kentucky Route Zero. We're launching into this. I've never played this before. I don't really know anything about it. I've just heard really good things. In particular, I've heard that the developers of Disco Elysium, which is one of my favorite games ever, I thought it was amazing, that this was one of their two main inspirations for their game. This and Planescape Torment, of course. Now, Planescape Torment is my favorite game of all time, so I could see the very obvious influences there. But I never played this, so here we are. It's January. This is probably the final game we'll be playing for January, which is when I do a month of games that don't have combat in them, just for the sake. And here we go. So this says start, so we'll click start, and we'll see what happens. Act 1. Play or do an X in a line thing. I think we're gonna go with play. What does this say? Limits and demonstrations, the entertainment, here and there along the echo, un pueblo de nada. Oh, these are like chapter names? Oh, I can go to the different chapters if I want. No. I lied. I don't want to go to the... I don't want to go to chapter 3. Or act 3 or whatever. It's a good game and it stands up to a lot of discussion, so it should be a fun stream. Yeah, I'm excited about it, Octo. I've heard great things about this game for a long time. So here we go. Launching. Act 1, Scene 1. Equus Oils. Okay. I hope that volume is not a problem. I haven't had any sort of Equus Oils. Oh, that is a very large horse head. What if Dark Horse Comics sold gas? Oh, here I am. I'm playing. There's things I can look at. Okay, hold on. I need to know what this means. Field notes. Dogwood Drive. Okay. Let's talk about options. Let's talk about text speed. Steady, sudden, drowsy. I don't know what that means. Text size. Human. Lion. Mammoth. Bug. Cat. Human. I kinda like... I'll keep it on human for the sake of people watching this that might not be playing it, watching it full screen or whatever. Auto advanced captions, okay. Volume starts at 7 out of 10. I do like captions. I feel like the volume probably needs to come down a little bit. And... you can play this with a gamepad? Logging. Let's play this without chopping down trees if we can. Alright, cool. Let's bounce. Let's play. Zoom. Oh, pressing spacebar brings up the little notebook here. Pressing... other buttons didn't do anything. Okay, let's take a look at this dog. An old hound and a straw hat. Both have seen better days. Okay, I now realize what this is, and... sure, Octo. Yeah, that's fine. If there's something that you can miss, it's cool if you mention it to me. A moving truck rumbles softly to itself. Painted on its side are the words Lisette's Antiques, Furniture, Glassware, Curiosities. sure it doesn't want me to go this way, but maybe I'm wrong. There's a highway. An interstate highway, 65, running from Alabama to just shy of Chicago. It ought to be quitting time in this part of Kentucky, but the daylight just won't shake. The sun just won't go away. I like the visual presentation of this. It's so minimalist, but it's also very evocative with the sunset and everything, and the silhouette of the character. You can really imagine it being this time of day and the way that the lighting is. Alright, get your pizza explode. Have a good one. We'll see you later when you get back from doing that. Diesel engine rumbles. Oh, that's kind of cool. When you move somewhere, it puts a post in the ground and it throws a horseshoe at it. So there's sort of a horseshoe-themed movement, which is very interesting. We've got an attempt. Oh, I can talk to this person. Let's not talk to anybody until we've run around like a maniac. So I'm guessing I don't have to, like, pixel hunt to find things to look at. That anything I can look at or interact with is going to pop up with a little thingy at the appropriate time. Like when I'm close enough to it or whatever. So that's fine. Let's look at this guy. Joseph sits between gas pumps in a Queen Anne armchair. His hair is gray and his glasses darkened. Cool. Let's talk to him.
Damn, did you hear that wreck? Truck full of bottles. I don't know, beer bottles? Whiskey? Lost a tire or something and spilled booze and glass all over the interstate. What a mess. I hope they don't come down here looking for anything. We blew a damn fuse and it's all shut off. Did I hear a dog? What's your dog's name?
Oh, this is me. And I can now actually choose dialogue options. Nice. Apparently Conway is the name of my character.
His name is Homer.
Conway.
Bit of a shuffle or drag in Homer's step. Kind of an old one, isn't he? Well, I guess he's got some stories then. Hey, here's some jerky for Homer. I made it myself. Didn't turn out too well, but I bet a dog will eat it.
Thanks. Have some terrible jerky.
Getting late, right? I can feel the sun on my neck. I'll bet it's just a few feet off the horizon.
I've got a delivery to make on Dogwood, but I'd rather watch the sunset.
Yeah, it's the truth. You gotta stop and breathe in that road. I bet while you're out driving, you let your eyes wander up the tree line and you just... Well, I'll bet you're more of a poet than old Joseph.
You like poetry?
Oh, I just like to listen to the TV. I used to do a lot of poetry on the computer, but I don't have the ear for it lately.
Probably groundhog jerky? What?
Listen, you and Homer would have been driving up and down 65 all night. Dogwood Drive is on the other side of... Well, to get there, you gotta take the 0.
The jerky for Homer. But why groundhog? What am I missing? Or is that just a random thing you said? Is that a reference to something?
The 0 is a tough route to find, but you can use my computer to look up directions. You'll have to head down into the basement and reset the circuit breaker first. I'll be happy to have those whining lights back up anyway. Too damn quiet out here.
You said it was homemade jerky. Seems like there would be groundhogs in this area, or prairie dogs or such. Alright. Cool. Groundhog jerky. Why not? I'd eat it.
The basement door is back there in the office. Appreciate your help, friend. Oh, and here. Take this lamp. It gets dark.
So we spent, like, ages in the last game just trying to find a light source, and finally this one just gives you one right out the gate. Thank you, developers. I've got a lamp now. Do I have an inventory? Oh, I see. I can fast draw that lamp. So there's no more interacting. Well, you know, I can talk to him again.
Just head back into the office and you can't miss the stairs. The breaker box will be somewhere on the right side of the room down there.
Why can't you fix the lights yourself?
Well, it's true. I know that basement pretty well. But last time I got the repair work down there, I crossed the wrong wire and took out half the traffic lights in Elizabethtown.
Doesn't sound good. Is it you, Michael?
It's that damn electric company, Consolidated. They plug everything together on one big grid. Too many eggs in the damn basket. So now I'm a little circuit shy is all. Anyhow, I appreciate your help.
No problem. No problem. Basement. Here we go. Dog is just casually moseying. Why can't you fix the lights yourself? Because I gave the lantern to you, silly. Logic. Okay, this is very cool so far. I like the just sort of presentation of the game. Even though I do hate this font. A dusty, rusty sign is bolted onto the wall. Sign. These are the rules. 1. No open flames near the gasoline. Carrying a... Is this a burning lamp? I think it is. 2. No consumption of beer or spirits on the premises. 3. In case of sudden darkness, do not panic. Relax. Count backwards from 5. 4. Strictly limit time spent in the basement to fewer than 3 minutes of every hour. That's a lot of rules for a basement. So I was pretty much just standing out there with an open flame by the gas pumps. Oh, basement people! Whoop, whoop. It's because you can. Sort of scandalous things go on here. It's a good question, Knox. Look at what's up, basement people. Emily, Ben, and Bob sit in folding chairs behind a worn card table. Papers, oddly shaped dice, and highway maps cover the tabletop. Oh my god, are they gaming? Are they playing D&D? Or are they playing... Are they playing... I was trying to think of a clever name, like... Interest in Interstates or something, but no. Joe Deaver's Freeway Warrior. Oh man. Alright, let's talk to Emily, Ben, and Bob. Conway clears his throat.
No, I'm sorry. Didn't know there was anyone down here.
Emily to Bob.
Did you hear something?
Bob to Emily.
No. Sorry, I was looking at the rules again.
Ben.
Gets easier as you go. Look, you said you rolled a 5, right? That means you get to pick up your marker and move it anywhere on the map.
So it's your turn now, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Where'd you put that 20-sided die? I don't see it. Did you drop it?
It should be easy enough to find. It glows in the dark.
Wow. They completely ignored me. Gets no response from the people at the table.
Did you lose something?
I think it rolled down off to the left there, but I don't see it.
Well, I'm not gonna go looking for it. It's too dark down there. Why don't you go down and get it, and I'll just study the rules here.
You always gotta watch out for that guy who's studying the rules. These people are in dire straits. You're off to a good start, Nox. Alright, so I could maybe find their die for them while I'm running around down there. How do I actually proceed, though? They're kind of in my way? Conway taps his foot, but gets no response from the people at the table.
What kind of game is that?
I think you were right about the...
Wait, I've already forgotten which one had... Oh, no, that was Bob that talked like that. This is Ben.
I think you're right about the instant crisis rolls.
There's a whole separate table of them in the back. I don't like that rule anyway. It's not fun. It's just random and frustrating.
See, I think I would agree with Bob.
The randomness is what makes it realistic, Bob.
Realistic. Cool. Conway clears his throat but gets no response from the people at the table.
You, seem pretty focused on that game.
I still don't understand how you win.
Roll the 20-sided die once for each player and refer to Appendix C, Table of Psychogeographical Anxiety/Address Correlations. Locate the resulting street addresses on the road map and move each player marker to the appropriate location.
That doesn't help.
I don't think you can win. It says on the box it's a tragedy.
Wow. This is very interesting. There's no music. Is there ever going to be music? Also, remember that you have to start by playing... Oh, no. Yeah, your crazy, crazy dream. As someone who plays board games that look like accounting spreadsheets myself, I feel attacked. Well, I play some complicated board games from time to time, but not on the level of what they're describing here.
You said you're missing a piece.
Okay, so just to get started, we need that 20-sided die.
Yeah, that gets us on the road. Well, hopefully. If you roll a 1, you drive into a ditch. If you roll a 2 or a 9 or a 12, you have to write down a new anxiety and roll again. If you roll a 5, you get to move your piece anywhere on the map you want.
This sounds like a game that Sardik would have disastrous results playing. You have to write down a new anxiety. That's amazing.
Bob, go get that die.
It's too dark down there.
They're just ignoring the fact there's a guy standing here with a lantern.
Well, that should make it easy. The damn thing glows in the dark.
Wow. Conway knocks on the table but gets no response from the people at the table. Walks away. But I still can't, like, actually bypass them, right? No, I'm gonna have to, like, get them to move out of my way or something.
If you could just move your chairs a bit, I can scoot right by.
Emily, Ben, and Bob argue about the rules of their game and who should be responsible for retrieving their lost game piece, a glow-in-the-dark 20-sided die. Are these motherfuckers being serious? Also, how were they playing in total darkness before I brought the... I'm the one that brought this light source down here. So that means before they were what, in total darkness? No wonder they're dropping dice. Do these people have dark vision? No, because they were complaining about it being too dark down there. This is all feeling very surreal right now. Playing by the light of the D20. There you go. Right, so... yeah, they're not going to let me pass, apparently. So... what else can I do? Yeah, we've seen the rules. Fewer than 3 minutes. We've all been down here longer than that. I guess I'm gonna go back up and talk to, I can't remember this gentleman's name. Joseph.
Just head back into the office and you can't miss the stairs. The breaker box will be somewhere on the right side of the room down there.
There's some people in your basement playing some kind of game.
In the basement? Nah, I don't think so. Maybe that lamplight is playing tricks on you.
Okay. So maybe I have to, like, turn the light out to get past them. In which case, this is definitely getting very surreal. It's possible that nothing in this game is literally happening, but in fact is some kind of dream slash afterlife slash hallucination slash... well, turning the light out didn't seem to improve my ability to circumnavigate. Not really the word you want to use. Okay, listen, Emily, Ben, and Bob. I'm gonna need y'all to get to stepping here. Alright, maybe I need to carefully look in the dark for the... aha! It's over here. Got it. Got it. Got it. Because it's glow in the dark, so if I have the light on, I can't see it. I mean, that's not 100% logical, but we're going with it. Here it is. Conway picks up the glowing 20-sided die and inspects it. The number 5 is facing up. It's just a small piece of plastic, but it has a reassuring, almost comforting weight. He places the object in his jacket pocket. Now I have the die. Wait, they're gone? This is super weird. Folding chairs are arranged around a worn card table. The chairs are empty, and the surface of the table is bare. Oh, moral choices. Honestly, fuck these people. I'm keeping this. I have serious doubts that these people are even real. Conway keeps the 20-sided die in his pocket and walks away. We found a breaker, and there's nothing else here. What? Oh. Wow, everything is lit up nicely now. Basement is... oh, I didn't notice that. That is so cool. There's the head of the horse. Right, and these are the legs. That's insane. That's actually really cool. I wouldn't have noticed that if you hadn't mentioned it. And that is cool. Oh, and everything's all lovely now. Oh, but the sun has gone down. Time is passing. That's good. I'm gonna run over here for absolutely no reason. Just in case, you know? Yeah, we got the D20. What's up, boss? Good to see you. How you doing? Oh, this head looks very cool now that there's light. Equus oils. There's no reason to come over here right now, I'm sure, but... Or is this the wrong game? No, this isn't the wrong game, I guess.
There it is. Just listen to those lights whine. Yep.
There were some people down in your basement playing some kind of game, but they're gone now.
So you insist on it, do you? All right. Well, strange things happen underground, especially in the dark. So, computer's in the office. You're looking for Marquez. She knows her way around those roads. She'll get you to the zero.
Look at how the zero is all, like, bajiggity.
The password is, damn. I usually just feel it out. Muscle memory, you know?
I do know, in fact.
It's kind of long, kind of like a short poem, I think. One of those short poems that really sums it all up.
Wow, that's very helpful.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, no problem. I'll just figure out the short poem password.
No luck with that computer password? Maybe you're going too fast. Don't force it now. Just try to think like a poet.
Alright, thinking like a poet is the current plan. There's the computer. Ready to think like a poet? Conway taps a key, waking the computer from its reverie. User. It is I, King of the Being Joseph. Password. Something that really sums it all up. Huh, okay. It's that simple, I guess. I wonder if this is one of those things where no matter what you pick, it's acceptable. I don't know. Or if I just, got lucky.
How's it going in there? Figuring it all out? Sure you are.
Or if the password you input changes reality around it. Didn't even think of that. Typing, messages, address book, games, exit. Apparently we haven't heard of mice and graphical user interfaces. Well, shit, let's go right for the games. I mean, let's keep it real here. Games is not real. You forgot again about Doctor Who? What? Messages. Message 1 is from Donald at hotmuk.mail. Message 2 is from accounts at consolidated.mail. From Donald at hotmuk.mail. Subject, fragment stem of lovely forms. Sounds poetic. Message. Joseph, I know it's been a while, and I know you're still sore, but there's a whole world in here, and we need your help to unmask it. Yes, our caves, the caves, are cold and damp, and we are old and lame. Never mind, I can't remember why I even started writing this. I miss those days in the lab, with you and our dear Lula. Maybe you found your own Xanadu. Well, so have I. So Joseph might have a little more interesting background than we think. It's gonna play fast and loose with mixing of the metaphorical and the literal. Right. That's what I'm getting. End of message. Reading this guy's message is just like a savage. From accounts at consolidated.mail. Subject, account standing, urgent. Message, Dear Equus Oils, this is an urgent automated message that your account is overdue by more than 14 days. In response, we have switched you to our low reliability Dirty Power Plus plan. That sounds terrible! Oh my god! Consider making a payment immediately to obviate the need for us to switch you to Sustained Brownout Select. I like the fact that they've got these, like, horrible sounding names, but then they add, like, plus or select onto the end of it to make it sound good. It's amazing. Sincerely, your friends at the Consolidated Power Co. End of message. Alright, we don't need to read any more messages. I guess we'll check the address book. Well, Marquez is who we're supposed to look for. Let's see what it says about the Zero. Address, the Zero is not real. Dogwood Drive. Address, Dogwood Drive is not real. Marquez. Marquez Residence, 100 Macondo Lane. Head northeast on 65 and turn left as soon as you see that ugly tree that's always on fire. Oh my god, I wish this was how, like, Google Maps or something would give you directions. You'll see a really ugly house on your left. You're gonna want to turn there. Turn left as soon as you see that ugly tree that's always on fire. Look for the barn at the base of the mountain there. Can't miss it. Joseph shouting.
Got it? Out there on Macondo somewhere, right? Yeah, that's it. Hey, look. While you were down there, I loaded that old TV of mine into your truck. I borrowed that thing from Weaver Marquez a number of years ago, and now that the power's all weird over here, I can't pick up anything but static and public access anyway.
Oh dear God, public access.
She was always more of a reader, but maybe she'd want it back at home. It's a nice TV.
Alright. Return the TV. Side quest accepted. There's no reason to mess with the computer again, probably, but... Still have nothing in my little... Oh, I could talk to Homer. Conway scratches behind Homer's right ear. How's it going, Homer? What do you think of this place? It's odd. I never noticed it driving by. How about a treat? Here's some jerky from the gas station attendant. I bet a dog will eat it. Achievement unlocked. He's a bit odd, isn't he? I guess the night shift will do that to you. Basically just had a conversation with myself. Done that. Where you basically just talk to a dog even though you know the dog can't understand you. About the only thing that comes on through is that Sardic evangelical broadcast on the Thaumaturgy network. Can't ever get the volume right. They're always screaming at me about peace.
The sun's gone down. You and Homer better get on that road if you're going to make your delivery.
Alright, farewell, Joseph. It's been nice talking to you. Let's hit up the truck. Diesel engine rumbles. Conway doesn't want to stay any longer, or it's not time to go. I think we're ready to go. Oh, they ain't playing. There's a legit map here. Oh, and now I have the directions. Northeast on 65. Well, what if we go the wrong way, you guys? Glasgow Road. But am I gonna, like, run out of fuel or something and be stuck somewhere? Because that could get awkward. Can I just go anywhere the hell I want? I guess I can. Oh, and these roads all have names and stuff. This is cool. Alright, here's how I'm gonna play this game, you guys. I'm gonna play this game like one of the DoorDashers that I order from. Meaning, I'm gonna drive everywhere except the right place first. DoorDash simulator. Found a diner. The diner doesn't appear to have a name. A vinyl banner slung above the door simply reads 24 hours. It only has one window, behind which the blinds are tightly closed. Try the door. Conway tries the door. The door swings open easily. A bell rings nearby. The interior of the diner is pitch black. Do I still have the lamp, or did I give it back? I probably gave it back to him. There's no limit. It's the area around Mammoth Cave National Park, apparently. And I'm assuming that's in Kentucky? Let's wait a moment to adjust to the darkness. Conway stands in the doorway, waiting for his eyes to adjust. A bit of errant light from the nearby highway creeps through the open door, and gradually Conway is able to make out a few figures inside. I like the writing in this so far. It's good. Two old men in trucker hats sit in a corner booth with a checkers board set on the table between them. Mammoth Cave is also the cave system that inspired Colossal Cave Adventure, one of the first text-adventure games. Oh, really? That's cool. A young woman standing behind the counter in an apron must be a waitress. The cook stares blankly from the kitchen. The door slams shut and the room is dark again. Oh. I guess I'll sit down at the counter. Why not? Maybe I can get a cup of joe. Conway walks in the direction of the counter. He hits his knee on something hard and metallic, winces quietly, and then carefully finds his way to a stool. He places his hand on the counter. Another hand, a young woman's, rests itself on his. She guides his fingers to a laminated menu. Conway closes his eyes, opens them, maybe closes them again. Impossible to differentiate. Is this a Braille menu? Ask about the basketball game. That seems like a total non sequitur. The Wildcats are struggling, but today's was an important game. They could have rallied. Perhaps the waitress heard the game from the kitchen. Or maybe she's a fan herself. Conway clears his throat. He feels a warm hand against his cheek and freezes. Her fingers run across the stubble of his chin. He feels like apologizing. She leans forward, and so does he. This is a very unusual diner. That's it? Then it just ends? Wow, okay. Alright, I can't go any further this direction now, so... Driving around in this map is surprisingly fun considering how minimalistic it is. Field notes, right, okay. Wait, I have the D20 here with a 5. Can I... Oh! I got a 17. That's much better. If you think I'm not going to keep rolling this till I get a 20, you're sadly mistaken. That's in the top 20 numbers you could roll, I know, right? 19, not good enough. They could have programmed it so that it never goes on 20. I will also accept 1. Yeah, you couldn't tell. It is theoretically possible to roll the die an infinite number of times and never get 20. So far, no 20s or 1s. Teasing me with that 19. The noise this makes is a little bit weird. Ones and 20s. Well, I'm not saying it wouldn't be improbable. I'm just saying it's theoretically possible. Oh, there's a 1. I'll take a 1. 1's interesting. 1 or 20 are the only interesting numbers on a D20. Okay. So this is kind of like my inventory, but it's my notebook and now my D20. He's like, nope, not driving that way. Louisville Road, Plum Springs Road, Mount Olive Gherkin Road, Mount Olive Road, Glasgow Road, Louisville Road, Otter Gap Road, Shadyland Church Road. There was something up here. I'm glad I don't have to worry about fuel and stuff. That would make this annoying. Boiling Spring Road. Buffalo Creek RECC. Is that like a recreation area? Ah, no, it's not. The office of the Buffalo Creek Rural Electric Cooperative Corporation is almost invisible from the road. Its parking lot overgrown with weeds and its facade sheltered by ivy. Conway looks in through a window. A sinewy shadow obstructs the view through the window. Let's go in. Why not? Conway enters the front door. The floor is loosely covered in dirt. Parts of the carpet have rotted with exposure to rain. Wild mushrooms grow in some corners of the room. The wall behind the front desk has been mostly rotted away. It looks fragile. This place sounds gross. Conway pushes through the moldy back wall. Conway finds himself in what may once have been a conference room. The floor has fallen away in places and filled with a dark green mire. The walls of the conference room are decayed and damaged. This place is like House of Sliggins. Just sludge. Let's keep pushing through walls like Mr. fucking Kool-Aid. Oh yeah! The drywall dissolves as Conway pushes through it, falling in damp clumps in the marsh. He breaks through into a long hallway. The glow of a bioluminescent fungus casts a faint blush on the walls. Conway has the feeling he has interrupted something. After a moment of silence, the frog chorus resumes. Wow, these little events are very mysterious. Chalabeat School Road. Otter Gap Road. Vine Street. Glasgow Road. The bill was from Consolidated Power, so presumably they ate all the smaller companies like this up in the past. Ah, that does make sense. That is a very jiggy-jaggy road. Chalabeat Road. Brownsville Road. So these are presumably all like real roads and stuff. Morgantown Road. From this area. Here's a church. A kirch. Good stuff will happen here. In before Bitterquip. The light of the world is Jesus. A singing chorus echoes from within the church. The building is 1 story tall with a pitched roof and a 3-story spire rising from the front. The top section of the spire is made of stained glass. An interior light illuminates the pines in red, green, and blue. A large LED display glows in the parking lot. Was not expecting that. Light of the Last Great Awakening Baptist Church. Conway stands and listens to the chorus. The muffled chorus drones at a steady volume, repeating the same 2 verses without rest. Sounds kind of creepy. Bitterquip and Reverend Blake. Let's enter the church. I'm ready for some jubilation. Who's ready for some jubilation? Conway approaches the church doors. The front doors of the church are modest and worn. They are locked. Who the fuck locks in their church congregation? Let's walk around to the rear of the building. This is like a cult. A ramp leads up from a few dusty metal trash cans to the church's back door. Oh, we're going spittoon diving. Conway opens a few of the trash cans and looks in. One has a bit of something leafy and rotten stuck to the bottom of it. Another is full of unlabeled videotapes. Let's see if we can go in the back door. Conway pushes open the back door. He finds himself in a kitchen lit by a buzzing fluorescent ceiling fixture. On the counter are a plate of moldy bread and an empty Dixie cup flecked red around its waxy rim. A set of swinging plastic doors on the far wall lead out of the kitchen. Plastic doors. Unlabeled videotapes seem potentially scandalous. Yeah. Conway pushes open the plastic doors and walks through. Vacant pews sprawl unevenly into the church. A small raised stage lies to Conway's right, bare except for a tape recorder. The tape recorder's power cord runs to an outlet near Conway's feet. So it's just playing this tape on a loop. There's nobody actually in here. The way it changes as you get closer, yeah, that was, I noticed that. I'll let it keep playing. Okay, we know about this. Drives away. If only they also had dry bones. God damn it. Sunfish Road, under no circumstances should they have it. Sunfish B Spring Road. Annetta Road. The church is abandoned, but the work continues. Indeed. Oh, I found an airplane. Oh! There's more going on here. Two shirtless, shoeless men push a light aircraft along the highway. Occasionally, one or the other slips a bit on the sweating asphalt or stops to pull back his hair. The men are nearly broken. The rubber is almost worn away. Soon these men will be dragging this airplane. I can't help them, huh? This seems like it's going badly for them. This seems like a Planescape Torment. Yeah, a Planescape Torment. Wow, Nox. Wow. This is so surreal. Well, bye guys. Good luck with that. I can stick around for a bit, but I can't move or anything. Rocky Hill Estates Road. Peonia Road. Wax Road. Wheeler Mill Road. Priceville Road. Grayson Springs Road. Wax Road. Cub Run Highway. Cherry Spring Road. Gap Hill Road. Cub Run. Union Light Dog Creek Road. That's a lot of road name. Nolan Dam Road. Brownsville. Pig Road.
Yeah, we live out on Pig Road.
Mammoth Cave Road. Oh, whoa, we got ourselves a museum. A sign in front of the building just reads, Museum. The lights are off, but the front door is open. Oh, we're going in.
It belongs in a museum.
Conway steps through the museum's doors. A few feet inside the museum's doors, the ambient sound of the highway drops sharply away. The room is cold, dark, and still. A book lies open on a table in the center of the room. An open hallway extends to the left. Large glass doors bar the path ahead. Oh, we're looking at the book, obviously. Conway looks at the book. There's no title on the book's spine or cover. A 3-word phrase written in pencil on the first page is smudged and indecipherable. Goddamn Elvish. On the first page, someone has left an ink drawing of a horse. We're back to the horse thing. Several dozen blank pages later, at the end of the book, is an elaborate ink drawing of a one-legged man working an antique adding machine surrounded by whiskey bottles. That is a very specific drawing. Let's go to this hallway. Conway walks down the hallway to the left. Conway's steps echo against the hallway's marble floor and arched ceilings. Plexiglass boxes line the walls. The hallway dead ends on a darkened display case. I'll look at these boxes. Conway examines the boxes on the walls. The first box, just a few feet into the hall, contains an assortment of bird wings. Some are missing feathers. One large, brightly colored wing almost glows in the moonlight. Its feathers are intact, but a piece of bone pokes awkwardly out from the tip. Wait, what's this about moonlight? Why is there moonlight in here? Aren't we in a building? Don't ask these questions, you know. Bird wings. Just the wings, though. That's kind of creepy, actually. Let's look at the display case. If I look at this again, nothing is different, right? Okay. Darkened display case. The display case is several yards wide, but just a few feet off the ground. It's unlit, and back in this corner of the darkened museum, very little moonlight creeps in. A gold-plated plaque on the surface of the case is a bit easier to read. It recounts a short history of fowl hunting in the region. Of fowl hunting. Hold on. This isn't a history of fowl hunting people or hunting things. Ah, those hunting ducks. It's a history of people hunting fowl. That sentence could go either way, but I think contextually we're gonna assume that it's not about ducks hunting things down in the region, and then speculates abruptly about the nature of addiction. Seems unrelated, but okay. Return to the entrance. Let's try these glass doors. The glass doors won't budge. To apply any more force would likely break them. How much of a dick do I want to be? Look, the place seems abandoned, right? Fuck it. Conway applies more force to the doors. The glass shatters. Somewhere ahead, a light switches on. After a moment, it switches off. The room is dark again, and the floor is covered in broken glass. Sorry. If this was Joe Deaver's creation, we would have just died from that. A pane of glass falls down and slices both of your wrists. Blood sprays everywhere. Your life and your quest end here. Can we go through the glass doors now? Conway walks through the broken glass doors. Broken glass grinds under Conway's boots as he walks down the hall. He has the feeling of being in a larger space. Very little light reaches the far end of the hallway. Feeling the floor seems like a good way to cut my hands. Let's try that. Conway kneels and runs his hands along the floor. The floor is completely smooth and strangely warm. Conway can feel his breath and sweat condensing on the surface. Would you like to lick the walls? I would. Feel the walls. Conway runs his hands along the walls. The walls are completely smooth and strangely warm. Oh, they're just like the floor, apparently. Word for word like the floor. Interesting. Go back to the entrance. Feels like the Far Realms fight pits. Have you ever thought about doing voice acting? What's up, Tarawak? How you doing? Sure, I've thought about doing voice acting, but I mean, I don't think I'd really be able to do it. I don't think I have what it takes to get an actual job doing voice acting. I'm not like a professional voice actor. I might be able to do voice acting for somebody's like mod or something, you know, some kind of non-commercial project, but actual game developers or whatever probably wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't be good enough for them. I wonder how many voices you'd need to get a foot in the door. Well, I think you have to be able to do certain accents like very consistently and accurately, and I can't really do that. I mean, it's not that I couldn't learn to do that. That would just require effort, you know, that I don't really want to do. Alright, let's go. It's like anything, you start on low budget stuff to build up a reel and then hope to get a lucky break. Yeah, I mean, it's just like many other things. It's just not a level of effort that I'm really able to consistently expand with my depression and stuff. Alright, let's drive away. Like if someone just came to me and was like, hey, you want to, you know, voice a character for this thing that I'm doing, I would do it. I would do it for free. But, you know, like the effort of like trying to go out and make that happen myself is not really something I'm going to do. I'm not really sure. Bon Air Road. I don't remember exactly where we have and haven't been here. Cumberland Parkway. The sequel for Dead Synchronicity would surely appreciate. Now, yeah, that level of game I could do voice acting for, because a lot of the voice acting in that game was pretty dodgy. New Bowling Green Road. I feel like the one kid, what was his name? You know, the sick kid, the one that disintegrated in front of us. That did not sound like a voice actor. That sounded like they were like, we don't need a voice actor for this kid. Fuck it. I've got a son. Right? Like, it was literally... just driving around randomly, reveling in the fact that I don't have to worry about fuel. Wait, here's another RECC. Sometimes you can really tell when it's just one of the programmers in a closet. Yeah. Wait, what do you mean you can't say impossible? If I put the rotten fish in the butt bag, it would dissolve and disappear in the folds of the bag. Yeah. Pretty ludicrous. The exterior of the Barren River Rural Electric Cooperative Corporation is a dingy beige, sprinkled with fading graffiti. The front door hangs open from a broken hinge. The windows are dark. Let's look in a window. Conway looks in a window. The windows are too dirty to see anything inside but a few dim shapes. Furniture, maybe. Or livestock. There could be cows in here? Oh, we're going in. Conway steps through the front door. The room feels empty with no furniture other than the built-in front desk, host to a disconnected telephone, and a few empty beer cans. Meandering lines of color have been spray-painted along the walls. Search for invisible cows. Indeed. Behind the desk, a hallway leads into darkness. Picking up the telephone seems like a random thing to do. Let's do it. This is the kind of stuff that I imagine the DoorDash drivers are out doing while they're supposed to be bringing me my food. They're going into random buildings and just picking up the phone for no reason. Conway lifts the telephone receiver to his ear. There's no dial tone. The phone is disconnected. Listen closer. Conway closes his eyes. With the phone pressed close to his ear, Conway can hear a thin, quiet roar, like the ocean or the highway. Conway steps into the hallway. The hallway passes several smaller office doors. It quickly disappears into darkness. Something is glowing in the distance, barely. Let's try these office doors. Conway tries a few of the office doors. One of the office doors is still locked. Another has been broken open, the door handle bent awkwardly inwards and embedded in the wood. But it's jammed against a filing cabinet. On closer inspection through the crack in the door, the whole room is filled with filing cabinets and other disused furniture. This setting almost seems apocalyptic, like everything is just like fallen to shit and is abandoned and stuff. But I mean, I feel like this isn't really literal. Like, this is, you know, kind of everything about this is just sort of surreal and dreamlike and, you know. So I'm not really thinking of this as though it was like a real place operating by, you know, realistic world rules or whatever. The hallway passes several smaller office doors. It quickly disappears into darkness. Something is glowing in the distance, barely. Let's check out the dark end of the hall. The door at the far end of the hallway is tightly closed, but a warm glow bleeds in from its edges. Of course, we're going to open it. Conway opens the door at the end of the hallway. The handle is loose, and the door swings open easily. The hallway fills with warmth, light, and the smells of smoke and coffee. About a dozen men and women sit around a campfire in the middle of a large room. Why not? Cubicle walls have been cut into pieces, some leaning up against the walls, and some arranged into stacks of firewood. Wow, that's an evocative image. One of the women waves to Conway and offers him an empty chair. It's missing wheels, but it's comfortable and easily adjustable to his height. Someone takes a pot hung above the fire and pours coffee into a styrofoam cup. Conway accepts it, and they all return to watching the fire. That was pretty cool. Here on Finney Road. Scottsville Road. L. Rogers Wells, Green Street, Cleveland Avenue, Old Bowling Green. Bon Air. New Bowling Green. No, a lot of those places just disappear after you've done them once. Main Street. So this is obviously a town. Cumberland Parkway. Veterans Outer Loop. L. Rogers Wells. Happy Valley Road. Happy Valley! Happy Dale Farms. Cumberland Parkway. Literally, this is what the DoorDash drivers do when I'm supposed to be getting my shit. They're literally just exploring the map. Holy crap, they made me wait forever for the pizza? Hey, welcome back, Splode. Either didn't start it or lost one in a tragedy. How is this so far? It's very interesting, very surreal. Oh, we found some dragonflies. Oh, and there's the ever-burning tree. Talk about these dragonflies. The truck jerks toward the shoulder, nearly run off the road by a swarm of dragonflies. Their wings beat briefly in the headlights and disappear into the night. I'm going to use this as an excuse the next time I'm running late on a delivery. I'm going to text the customer and be like, sorry, swarm of dragonflies got my car. Seems legit. Feeling apocalyptic is intentional, but why dips more into the metaphorical than the literal? Don't want to get too far ahead of the game, though. Yeah. Swarm of dragonflies. There's the burning tree. Let's hold off on the burning tree because, you know, it's relevant to like where I'm supposed to be going. Interstate 65. I don't really remember. Oh, I've been all along Mammoth Cave Road though. Oh, that's where I'm supposed to go. So of course we're not going to go there yet. Obviously. Again, making decisions like every other DoorDash driver that isn't me. Coral Hill Road. I think they literally get here and see my front door and they're like, alright, cool, that's where it is. I gotta check and make sure there's no side quests or anything, though, before I deliver this to him. Jackson Highway. More dragonflies. The dragonflies vary their pace. As the truck approaches, they scatter. After a minute or two, Conway can hear a swelling whine to the southeast. Dixie Highway. The Charlie Moran, the old Munfordville Road. Gritterville Road. Jackson Highway. LeGrand Highway. Lone Oak Road. Charlie Moran. Interstate 65. Alright, it's kind of cool that when you come up on the interstate, you start hearing more of the, like, the sound. Knew anything new to the southeast after that? What do you mean? No? We've been all down here. We've been all over here. I talked about the southeast with the dragonflies. Oh, yeah. It did. Southeast of where I was. So you're suggesting you think they're... Oh. Yeah, that house, I don't think that was there before. Or maybe I just didn't drive past that, but... Okay, hold on. If new things pop up as a result of events, that would be pretty cool. The truck pulls up to a house with an intensely bright porch light. A cloud of dragonflies swells around the light, darting, hovering, turning at right angles. There are no lights on in the house. A stencil on the mailbox reads 2880 Beaker Boulevard. And below, written in marker, "No solicitors. I work for long hours and retire early." Huh. So the dragonflies just kind of led me to that house. Helen N. Turnpike, Dixie Highway, Hammondsville Road. Bacon Creek Road. That sounds like a delicious creek. Interstate 65, and you got the actual, like, highway sounds when you get on the interstate. Frenchman Knob Road. Wow. Raider Hill Road sounds like a dangerous place. Priceville Road. Wheeler Mill Road. Wax Road. Okay, we were on Wax Road before. Grayson Springs Road. Priceville Road. I think we all explored this whole area. Yeah, Cub Run and all that. Okay. Oh, guitar player. Hey now. Oh, we can actually hear the guitar. A young man in gray-stained clothes sits by the side of the road. He is playing a worn guitar. To his left is a blue mug, and to his right, a weathered dog. Conway stands and listens. The young man strums absently on the guitar, hums tunelessly, and occasionally mumbles a word. Put $1 in the cup. Conway pulls a wrinkled dollar bill from his back pocket and puts it in the young man's cup. The young man stops playing, pulls the wet dollar bill out of his whiskey, and hands it back to Conway. Alright, that was kind of a Disco Elysium moment right there. A cup with a drink in it, and I just threw $1 in there. That's amazing. Can you imagine doing that in real life? I don't think there's anything up here that I haven't been to yet. Priceville, Wheeler Mill. I mean, I've been through all this up here, I think, so. Grayson Springs. Right. I think we've basically explored as much of the map as we're able to at this time, so let's head for the actual place. A tall black oak burns on a hill above the road. Just constantly burning tree. Why not? And here's the Marquez farmhouse, where we're supposed to be going to get directions to get to the 0. Act 1, Scene 2. Be seeing you. Marquez farmhouse. Oh, good old Homer. Pretty dark out here, huh? That tree is very politically oriented. It's Bernie Sandalwood. Oh my god, Knox. Really? Wow, Knox. Wow. Yep. Pretty dark out here. Hey, somebody just passed in front of the camera. What the fuck was that? I hope I can borrow you a treat up there. First, we're gonna come over here first. Camera zooming out, we can see more of this like foreground silhouette. This is cool. This is cool framing. People walking by in the... What the fuck? We're gonna go up this path because we can. My character's just out for a jog, getting some cardio in. Oh wow. That's so cool. Okay, so this is actually the way to the house. This isn't just a stupid side path that I'm going up for no reason. So hold on. I want to look at this lamp. A street lamp lights the base of a dusty path leading up the hill. Pretty straightforward. The way the camera dynamically zooms in interesting ways depending on where you move is nice. It's nice. The graveyard up here. That's a little bit weird. A family graveyard is set off to the side of the house. Headstones are inscribed with the surnames of the unfortunate. Nowakowski, Padilla, Marquez. One of these things is not like the others. There's a chair. There's a house. Those trees are very interesting looking. Breach mode. There's a truck over here. An old-timey truck. Let's go in the house. Oh, the sound of the going up the stairs is very authentic. Light switch? Outside. Sound design overall is very good in this game. I was just thinking what a lovely house we have. Do you like it? Have you been here before? Did you happen to see an owl? An owl? I didn't see any owl. I know. I saw it out the window once. Big, ugly thing. All sound and fury.
Well, it's gone now. There used to be another house here, but we had it destroyed, and we built this one. It was very expensive, and we got quite underwater. What do you do for work? Is it too difficult, or do you like it very much? I was once a mathematician. Are you looking for something in particular here? These conversations are so random. I like how the zero is always like all stylized in a strange way. Better than being in a ditch. I drive deliveries for a small antique shop. I believe it's hard times for a small antique shop. It's hard times everywhere, even out here on our little farm. My parents stopped paying the bank a while back. I shouldn't even be here, but I just stayed. I have some notebooks. I'm only a little bored. I might prefer to watch TV occasionally. Joseph says you're too smart to watch TV. That was a nice thing to say, but he was wrong. I'm not as smart as I used to be. I hear that. Well, actually, I suppose I am as smart as I used to be, but never any smarter. I don't learn anything new anymore. I write some figures, but nothing radical. Right. I'll bet he sent that old TV along with you, didn't he? Of course he did. That was clever of him. Will you please set it up? Then I can explain to you how to get where you're going. The zero. I know. She's a prophet. Setting up TV for a prophet. Or, you know, instead of a prophet. Oh, I'm actually carrying the TV under my arm. I was probably carrying it the whole time I was carrying up the stairs, and I didn't, like, consciously register it. Here's a sink. An abandoned spider web stretches across the bottom of a saucepan. Sliggins. A skillet is seasoned with dust. Get writing on this. Here's a stove. A disused wood-burning stove is set up in one ash-dusted corner of the room. It's cold to the touch. There's a garage down there with a car. Okay, let's actually set up the TV. Seems to be what we need to do now. Wow. That's pretty profound. There's the TV on and everything has gotten all liminal. Not really the right word, but don't care. That's not how it's supposed to look. You've made a mistake setting it up. Is it a foreign object to you? Which of your parents was it who wouldn't allow you to watch television? Dad thought it was radioactive. I know about that. He was ill, wasn't he? Mentally, I mean. Kind of cautious, timid. No, just expressive. You have it all backwards. I'm not surprised. Are you? Have you been paying attention? I don't think you have. It's time to start paying attention now, Conway. Look closely at the television. Yeah, I'm looking at it. It kind of looks like a hill.
with a hill on top of it. Multiple hills stacked on one another like scoops of ice cream. Let's take a look at this TV. Some horses. And a very large barn. And a windmill. And probably a water tower type of thing. And whatever that is.
Hey, wake up. You spaced out for a minute there.
What do you keep out in that barn? Wait, that's not the voice for this guy. What do you keep out in that barn?
Used to be tools and feed, then books. Now I think it's mostly spiders. That TV is picking up the wrong signal. My cousin Shannon would know more about it. She fixes TVs for a living. Well, she used to. I think the new models are giving her some trouble.
Mostly spider cows. No! Hills on hills. Yeah. Your cousin?
That's my father's brother's daughter, Shannon. We're about the same age. Well, we used to be. She's older now.
Makes sense.
She has a workshop up north a ways, by the lake. Right where Peonia and Wax Road meet. It's a big bait and tackle shop, and she fixes TVs in the back. Do you like fishing?
Weaver is a strange person.
Honestly, I'm not convinced you should bother with the Zero. I'd much rather you find my cousin and fix my TV. But I'll get you headed the right way. So, it's pretty easy. Get back on 65, heading north, then take the first right after the artificial limb factory. From there, your arrival at the Zero is basically inevitable.
In before she's older now because the dead don't age as such. Interesting thought.
Nice to know you, Conway. Keep your eyes open, especially in the dark.
Interesting advice. Bye, horses. A barn looks like it's seen better days. There was that Marquez tombstone. True. Ghost or something rare. Hey, she just disappeared. As one does. Metaphorical ghost. Metaphost. Ghost of 4. Graveyard. Same as before, okay. Interesting. A zeitgeist. Nice, Nox. The Bed Quilt Ramblers play You've Got to Walk. Oh, they're actually playing here in the foreground. Hey, Annie, how you doing? What's going on? I just met the strangest lady. She kind of creeped me out, Homer. Just had a weird energy. I'm good. I'm good, thanks. Alright. Well, that's cool. Get back in the truck. It's time to go. So, the cousin's house is over this way. Because... Wait, here's the museum again. Is this exactly the same as before? So far it is. Is there anything different? Fowl hunting, yeah. What's this game about? I couldn't tell you. Broken glass. Feel the walls and floor. Okay, so it's exactly the same. So you can go back to at least some of these places. But there's nothing new there at this time. I think the cousin's house is going to be over here, because that wax whatever road was mentioned, and that was over here somewhere. Oh yeah, see here's directions to Shannon's workshop. And the zero on-ramp. Up to the artificial limb factory. Peonia and Wax Road. Can't remember exactly where Wax Road was. I feel like it was over this way, though. No, but it was higher up north, actually, is where it was. It wasn't way down here by the gas station. It's about debt, apparently. It was somewhere up here. There's Peonia. There's the bait shop. That's what we're looking for. Conway pulls into the bait shop parking lot. Vaulted above the road on a thin steel bar, a handwritten sign reads, "Live bait, minnows small and also large for stripers, night crawlers, chips and beer." A green flyer hangs loosely from a bit of masking tape at eye level. Cool. To the shop's right, a dirt parking lot sprawls unevenly into grass and then, eventually, trees. The bait shop is open. Let's read the flyer. Conway reads the flyer. Computer-printed type in a bold font surrounds a clip art illustration of a TV set. The TV has eyes, arms, and legs. Its shoulders are slouched. On the screen is a cartoon expression of exhausted nausea. A hot water bottle rests against its wire antenna. Weird. TV repair. No model too old. Inquire within. We do not sell digital converter boxes. Okay, that makes sense. It's showing that the TV is sick. And so, you know, if your TV is sick, you bring it to the TV doctor, basically. Digital converter boxes. I remember when those were a thing. I'm getting the feeling that this takes place, like, kind of in, like, the 90s or something, maybe? Let's go in the bait shop. Narrow aisles crowded with lures, reels, rods, and snacks divide the shop lengthwise from the entrance to the cashier's counter. The left wall is lined with churning tanks of water. Conway approaches the tanks. Live bait tanks hum. The 3 metal tanks aren't labeled, and the water is too agitated to get a clear view of what's inside each one. The contents of the first tank are vaguely gray. The second is a muddy pink. The third is clear, but shiny silver flecks occasionally flash along its surface. Reaching into some tanks, why not? Conway reaches into the first tank. Conway's hand brushes against something roughly the size of his palm. Conway's hand comes into contact with a scaly, uneven surface. As he runs his fingers along the bottom, a bead of sweat bridges the inches from his temple to the water's surface. Something bites at his forearm. He recoils. This does seem like a really good idea, yeah. It's like spittoon diving, but with live fish. Conway reaches into the second tank. Conway's fingers slip through something fleshy but inert. The sensation is nauseating. Very Sliggins. Conway reaches deeper into the tank. As his elbow passes into the pinkish mass, he realizes he's about to be sick from the smell and pulls away. Conway reaches into the third tank. The water seems to tremble with life. Conway can't tell if his hand is being nibbled by fish or massaged by the artificial current. As his eyes near the surface of the water, he can see something colorful glowing faintly at the bottom of the tank. Conway reaches deeper into the tank. A tremor spreads from his elbow out to his fingertips and up to the base of his shoulder. His vision flickers. The water is running warm under his skin now, and he has the sensation that something is about to snap. His eyes close. This seems not great. Oh, wow. We're like full on into like vision mode. He lays on a rooftop. New shingles rough beneath his back, swelling in the noon sun. He is exhausted. They must have started before dawn. His legs are sore from holding stable on the uneven surface. His wrists from breaking old sealant. His fingers from carefully lifting shingles to hammer down new ones. That is some hard fucking work. Roofing on a house is some hard fucking work, especially like in the summer when it's hot. There's no doubt he's fucking exhausted. If anybody ever asks you, hey, do you want to help me put a new roof on my house? make up any possible excuse not to. Sorry, I can't. Dragonflies. Or whatever. His boss, Ira, yells from the idling truck below. He shades his eyes with his hand. A beer would be good. It's barely past noon, but he's worked a full day already. What could the harm be? Maybe a shot at the counter, just to get his eyes open. Then a beer. He could offer to drive into town for lunch and stop at that place on Cumberland. Oh yes, offer to drive into town for lunch for reals. Just to get the hell away from this super hot fucking tar and shingle covered roof. The cashier pushes Conway roughly on the shoulder. He's been talking, yelling maybe, but it's all an echo now. So I'm thinking this is kind of a flashback, like, you know, maybe Conway used to do this kind of work before getting his cushy drive around randomly job. Hashtag DoorDash. Conway looks up, his neck stiff with pain, his right palm still tingling. The cashier points to the tank, then above it to a few holes torn in the wall. Nail holes from which an electric sign has come dislodged and fallen into the water. Okay, I thought he was getting shocked. He helps Conway to his feet, looks at him pitifully, and returns to the cash register. One of the options with the dog implied Ira was the name of his old owner. Oh, that's right. I remember that. Interesting. Alright, let's approach the counter. A wiry cashier stands behind the register, preoccupied with a Sudoku puzzle. You know, I want to take a moment to talk about a thing in games. This is like a big thing in so many of these games like this, like Disco Elysium and you know, Torment Tides of Numenera. And really, you know, most RPGs that give you a lot of choices and stuff. Oftentimes, your character is given the option to do really dumb things that you have absolutely no reason to do, but you want to do them as the player so that you can see what happens and experience the content of whatever happens when you do or say those super dumb things. But it never really makes sense why your character would do those things, and so there's a little bit of a weird disconnect there that I don't super like. I don't know how to get around it exactly, but I don't know. I wish games would do a better job of giving you reasonable in-character incentives for doing the things that you're going to do as a player, like driving all over the map. Like, there's no reason why my character would drive all over the map like I just did. That was an asinine thing to do in the context of the fiction of the game, but it's what you want to do as a player. So, I don't know, that seems to be a problem in basically every RPG, I guess, or even adventure games. It's a problem in a lot of different games, I guess. The more freedom they give you, usually the less it makes sense for you to exercise that freedom, you know? I have no idea how you would solve that problem, but we're all about asking about some basketball games everywhere we go. The cashier switches on the radio. An AM sports broadcast is playing, but Conway can't be sure if it's meant to answer or to drown out his questions. Conway asks about Shannon Marquez's workshop. A handwritten sign on the door behind the counter reads, "TV repairs by appointment, please consult with cashier." The cashier knocks a few times on the door and waits, occasionally glancing at his puzzle. After a few moments with no answer, he notices a smaller note written on the sign, reads it, then points it out to Conway. Let's read the note. True, like, would you like to lick the walls? Yeah. Weaver, I got your message. Have left for the old mine. Don't know if I will see you there or what. Ready either way, Shannon. That sounds like something weird is going on. Wonder where the old mine is. I can't ask this guy. Narrow aisles. Okay, this is the same description. Same description. Okay, he's doing Sudoku. Well, the old mine. Do you guys think if I just drive around randomly I can find it? I mean, it could be literally anywhere. Oh, maybe you can go back and look it up in the computer. I didn't think of that, Knox. Let's try it. Whoa, 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 wreck. Oh no. What happened? That is a very unfortunate looking dog. Conway shakes his head. What a mess, huh? You think anyone was hurt? Looks like a tough one to walk away from. Shredded pieces of tire, presumably. Shredded pieces of big tires. That one won't get a recommendation on Carfax. A recommendation. Hashtag Onox. Oh. Alright, we could go back to Equus Oils and see if we can get any assistance here. Oh! That puts us into scene 3, apparently. Equus Oils. Did they expect us to come back here? Joseph and a stranger are here. Okay. A man with a large pair of antlers slung over his shoulder is speaking with Joseph. Okay. Interesting. Achievement unlocked. Finding Carrington.
And that's only a few miles outside of Hodgenville anyway. I don't think you could do much better for accessibility. And they got that new gas station if folks get lost.
But maybe they should feel lost, Joseph. Just as lost then as we are always already lost. Just like poor, itinerant Silas wandering the road, looking for a home.
Well, that's the way to look at it, I guess.
To Conway.
Well, hello! I heard that old truck rumble on up. How's Homer? Say, maybe you can help this fella. He's looking for a venue, is how you said it, right?
A furniture warehouse you could probably break into.
Sure. I have an old friend who runs a bar. They got a real big stage.
No, it can't be indoors. Impossible.
Impossible. Hashtag impossible.
But I'm obliged you'd stop a moment to help me work this through. Let me explain my charge. I've dedicated my last 12 years to the design and orchestration of my life's great work. A grand, broadly experimental theatrical adaptation of The Death of the Hired Man by Robert Frost.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
How do you mean experimental?
Well, drama is really my second love. My higher calling is pseudoscience.
Pseudoscience? I'm sorry, you're in the wrong game. You're in the game we just finished playing. I mean, you should be in the game we just finished playing.
Yep. Pseudoscience.
Pseudoscience is the eternally fruitful marriage of whimsy and process that has yielded such poetic specimens as astrology, phrenology, canals on Mars, and homeopathic medicine.
Right.
I hope I have the time to explain how my pseudoscientific theory poetics find expression in this play. But now I am in a delirious rush.
Okay, this guy does seem very Disco Elysium to me. I mean, obviously, this is the game that influenced that, not the other way around, but you know what I mean. That same sort of tone.
The event is to be performed tomorrow morning, just before dawn. But, in the spirit of tragedy, our venue fell through at the last moment. I've been out all day, driving the highways, looking for a replacement. Eyes fastened to the landscape, like a hawk scouring the field. So like a hawk, in fact, that I failed to keep an eye on my gas meter. I'm here waiting for the tow truck to bring my car so I can get back at the task.
Ah, I see. That happened to me once, actually. When I was driving in Northern California, I was driving towards Sacramento on I-80, and my car... Well, it didn't run out of gas. My radiator overheated, and my car wouldn't run. So, I had to get out and walk, and I had to walk like 16 miles to the next town, which was the town of Colfax, California, and it was really hot. It was really hot. So I was like super sweaty by the time I got there. And then I had to get a tow truck to go get my actual car and bring it to the town so I could get it serviced. It was quite an adventure. It was quite an adventure. I ended up riding around in a truck with beauty queen of Colfax, because she worked at this dealership and she just got enough work, and I was trying to get help trying to find a place to rent a car because I wanted to get on to San Francisco because I was going to meet my girlfriend Donna there at the time, and I wanted to get there. I didn't really give a fuck about my car, so I'm trying to find a rental car, but you know, the place that would normally rent the cars was already closed for the day, and so we're driving around to different places trying to find somebody that can rent me a car at this time. And this woman that worked at the car dealership for some reason decided to help me out and is driving me around looking for a place to rent a car. Finally, I found this guy that would rent me a van for cash. And I rented a van from him and I drove on to San Francisco, but I got there much later than I was supposed to. Anyway, that's my story, vaguely related to what's happening here with this character. It was quite an adventure, though. I'm gonna drive anyway. So what kind of venue are you looking for?
Somewhere outdoors, somewhere intimate, somewhere tragic. If you have attention to spare on your drive, I'd be grateful.
Outdoors and intimate. Throw in a few more mystical ghost encounters and that's basically just this game, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, I'll never forget that 16-mile walk to Colfax in the brutal heat. That was not part of my plan for the day.
Well, here you are.
I can talk to him about all sorts of things.
Here I am. Yep, I'm hard at work, as you can see. Now, don't distract me. You like your work?
It's better than being in a ditch.
Ha! I'll bet you always say that, like a reflex. When people ask about my work, I always say, it's pretty okay. That way I don't have to think about it.
Interesting.
Met your friend Weaver.
Huh. Now, you say you met her? She was there?
Yeah, she was there. You're surprised?
Huh. No, I guess I'm not surprised. It's good that you met her. I knew the Marquez family years ago when Weaver was a young girl and her parents were studying local folk songs. Smart family. Well, some of them are smart and the rest are wise, if you know what I mean.
I just say, oh, you know, and pray they didn't follow up. Oh, you know. What a great fucking answer to anything. It's such a non-answer, but like, a lot of people will accept just something like, oh, you know, and just move on with the conversation.
They hit some trouble a while back, and it kind of tore them all up. But, you know, everyone hits trouble at some point or another. Well, not everyone, but most of us do. Hey, if you see Weaver Marquez again, tell her I'm sorry about her aunt and uncle, and I hope I'll be seeing her soon. Many thanks.
It's weird how the conversations just sort of end, even though you can still talk to him about other things.
Ran across a strange museum up north a bit.
Oh, that old place. I heard they keep a huge archive. Hey, next time you're up there, take a look in the archive room and see if you can find any of my old work on file. It'll be under Wheat Tree. That's my last name, Wheat Tree. The archive is just through the hall of glass. It's these big plastic doors, kind of hard to spot, but the texture is a bit different than the rest of the walls.
So he's expecting me to feel my way through the dark.
Do you know where an old mine is around here?
Around here? I guess not. Oh, unless you're thinking of the old Elkhorn mine. Well, that's over northeast of here on Hardyville. But you can't get in there anymore. It's all fenced up. They, had an accident.
Have you noticed anything different about his dialogue? Not exactly. I have real bad memory, so I don't really remember what his dialogue was like before. He talks about hearing things a lot, don't you think? Does he? Hearing things. Wait, is he blind? Did I hear a dog? Heard a crash up there. Be nice to have the buzz of the lights back. Yeah, and he was just talking about sort of feeling your way through the museum. Is he blind? Is he wearing glasses? It's pretty subtle, if so. Also, what's going on with this guy? Oh, he's got the huge antler horns. Can I use the computer? Oh, I can't even check the address book again. These are the same messages as before. Wait, but how does he read his messages if he's blind? Maybe the computer's reading all of this out loud? The lab. I didn't even notice that about him talking about hearing things a lot, though. Used to do poetry on the computer, but doesn't have the ear for it anymore. Is that what he said? Really? Didn't have the ear? Interesting. Yeah, I didn't notice that. Conway has places to go. Wait, hold on. Oh. Not hold on. So he didn't give us specific directions to the mine. But I think you said it's kind of over this way. We're also looking for a venue now for, Jackson Highway. On-ramp. Okay, we don't want to go to the on-ramp right now. Right? Okay, hold on. We'll come back to that. Bacon Creek. I do need to pay better attention to this game, I think. I've been paying kind of mediocre attention. I mean, I've been paying a reasonable amount of attention for most games, but this game's got a lot of subtleties and a lot of, like, information that you're only going to see once sort of thing that, you know, I should probably be more focused on absorbing everything. Which is harder to do when you're streaming, obviously. Let's check out this factory. A creek runs alongside the highway and then turns toward a dirty brick building. A grinding drone from within the building is faintly audible from the interstate. Floodlights on the lawn illuminate smokestacks. At the edge of the building's parking lot, a large sign, partly obscured by trees, reads, Artificial Limb Factory. Right, that's what I figured this was going to be, because that was part of the directions we were given to how to get to the... He wants an outdoor but intimate place. You go the same speed on the interstate and off the interstate. It would have been kind of a cool little tiny touch if, like, when you got on the interstate itself, you went faster. Because, I mean, that's what would happen. Honor Gap. Could go back to the farm and see if Weaver is back. Now we're on scene 4. What? Marquez Farmhouse. Can I talk to my doggo? Probably the same thing on the graveyard, but yeah. The door just magically swings open. Oh, but she doesn't seem to be here. So it's interesting that this is noted as scene 4, but there's apparently, so far at least, there's no new scene here. You're just sort of revisiting the place, but it's empty. Maybe it becomes like an actual new scene after I've finally found Shannon, and just means it's an important location, not that there's something new there. It just increments forever, I think. Oh, okay, that is very unusual, right? That's not something I've ever seen in a game before. We can take bets on how high you'll get yours. Oh, now that I know that, playing at Josiah speed, I'm going to get to like scene 99 or something. You may have noticed I waste a lot of time when I play these games. And by these games, I mean any games. I am not really a, you know, goal-oriented player that just tries to, like, get through and do the next, like, obvious thing as quickly as possible. I pretty much just fuck around a lot. In the hopes that I'll randomly find some additional little, you know, things by doing so. Alright, I don't feel like we need to go back to the church for any reason. This is the same. I don't think there's anything... Yeah, we're not going to go back in the church right now. Oh, hold on a second. Never mind. I'm insane. For a second, I thought there were, like, stars underneath the map or something, but there's not. Where's the bait shop again? I just noticed that spreading ring. I don't know how I never noticed that before. When you go somewhere, a ring spreads out, and I'm assuming that's the ring of, like, being able to detect something on the map, right? I doubt anything new can happen here. Another thing that is bad about me and the way that I play these games is I have a terrible memory, especially when I'm streaming. Because I think, what the hell? I can't actually go that way now? Because I feel like whatever part of my brain would be storing the information that I learned from a game is instead thinking of things to say. And so like when I'm exploring areas in a game, I often forget where I have and haven't been. And even more so when I'm re-exploring areas of a game to look for something new. Then I really forget where I have and haven't been. So I end up wasting a lot of time going back over the same areas over and over because I can't remember if I went that way or not. Well, it mostly happens when I'm streaming, I guess. When I'm playing a game by myself, that doesn't happen nearly as much. I've heard other streamers talk about this, so I know this is not just a me phenomenon, but it is amazing how distracting streaming is compared to playing a game by yourself. Looking at chat and like constantly talking and stuff, because I'm not just experiencing the game, I'm also expressing how I'm experiencing the game at the same time. So my brain is doing like twice as much stuff as if I was just sitting here experiencing it on my own. Didn't they say Scottsville when they were talking about the mine? They said somethingville, I think. Oh, maybe it was Louisville, though. Vine Street. Born for this. What's going on, Lascuna? How you doing? Welcome. You were born for this? Born for what? Louisville Road. Yeah, when he told me any kind of directions related to the mine, I probably should have paid better attention. Don't have time focus enough on stream. Watch replay probably. Alright, cool. Yeah. Great. Should have been more mindful. Oh, Nox. See, it's hard to remember what's going on in a game when you've got to deal with Nox puns. Brownsville. That might have been the Ville that they said. I'm going to say this every road that I find. Oh, it was this one. Back to the museum. Oh, he did want me to go back in the museum, though. Okay, back to the museum. Still cold, dark, and still. Still strewn with broken glass. Let's feel the walls. No, they're not completely smooth. One wall is a bit more tacky, like it's bleeding a bit in the heat. Conway presses gently and the door swings open. Rows of filing cabinets line the walls. The room is lit intermittently by a quivering fluorescent bulb. Quivering. Open the first cabinet. The label on the cabinet reads, Artifice Failure. It contains several articles, CD-ROMs, prints, and punched cards. Each is stuffed in a large yellow envelope and labeled, for example, Q, Lavelle, 2010. Oh, we're not in the 90s then. 2010, really? Seems like we have a world that's curiously devoid of mobile devices for being past 2010. Portal, Freger, 1986. Mondo Medicals, Soderstrom, 2007. The Postman's Choice, Vaultier, 1967. Open the next cabinet. Maybe this is sort of an alternate history kind of thing, where it's like, what if the world had gone a different way kind of thing. Open the next cabinet. The label on the cabinet reads Generosity to Loneliness. Okay, Artifice to Failure. This is like a range, right? A through F. Generosity to Loneliness. It contains several articles, CD-ROMs, prints, and punched cards. Each is stuffed in a large yellow envelope and labeled, for example, Calamity Annie, Anthropy, 2008. Cart Life, Hoffmeyer, 2011. Mainichi, Bryce, 2012. The Sea Will Claim Everything. Geratsis, 2012. I kind of want to read that one. The label on the cabinet reads, some of those are games? Some of these are games? Well, Portal is a game that I'm aware of. I don't know if games of these other ones. The only one I know of is Portal. Everything I do is art, but nothing I do makes any difference. Part 2, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Gallery. Riley, 2006. Digital, A Love Story. Love, 2010. Radiator 1-1, Polaris, Young, 2009. Brace, Copus, 2012. The Cat and the Coup, Brinson, Balanahad, 2011. All of those are pretty deep indie, you might say. Okay. Very deep, I guess. The label on the cabinet reads Sorrow to Zero Sum. It contains several articles, CD-ROMs, prints, and punched cards. Each is stuffed in a large yellow envelope and labeled, for example, Siberia. Okay, I know that's a game. So-called 2002. Prisoner's Dilemma, Sarah, 1974. The Walking Dead, Telltale. Okay, that's obviously a game. We've played that game on stream, in fact. 2012. And finally, If I Had My Way, I'd Tear the Building Down. Wheat Tree, 1985. If I had my way, I'd tear the building down. Conway examines a manuscript. A few hundred sheets of paper are roughly stitched together in this manuscript. It seems to be a video game, written in a sort of awkwardly English-like code. Flipping through the pages, Conway is able to gather that it's a story about three characters: Joseph, Donald, and Lula. These are the people that work together in some lab, apparently, according to that message. It's something like a tragic love triangle, but much more complex. Some kind of tangled, painfully concave love polygon. I'm in a love icosahedron right now. It's very complex. All influences, maybe? If they're listing Radiator as an influence, I can't wait for the segment where you sensually eat a popsicle or spank someone. What the hell is Radiator? Sorrow to Zero Sum, right. Love Polygon. Okay, well, that's Wheat Tree's thing. We could go back and talk to him about that, probably. Here we are back on Brownsville. Morgantown. There's the church again. Sunfish Bee Spring. A collection of very explicitly gay micro games by Robert Yang. Wow. That is some obscure knowledge right there. I generally don't play any like really obscure indie games unless they get a ton of buzz and everybody's saying, you know, this is brilliant or whatever. Not sexually explicit, but very upfront about how gay they are. I don't have a problem with that. The game that I'm working on has a lot of LGBT stuff as well, and is not quite sexually explicit, but at times erotic adjacent. Optionally. Is the entrance to the mine inside this church? Seems unlikely, but... I still don't want to unplug the tape recorder. Seems like a dick move. Robert Yang is a professor specializing in, I want to say level design, and I want to say NYU? He's a cool dude. It boggles my mind that you can take college classes in things like level design now. You know, back in my day, when I was of the appropriate age to go to college, there were no games of game design. Literally none. It wasn't like, oh, there were 1 or 2 specialty schools. There was no such thing as game design as a thing that you could study. Alright, I could go for a hint on how to find this mine about now. Time was no computer science degrees either. Well, yeah, there was a lot of computer-related courses available, you know, in my time, which was, you know, the 90s. The mid to late 90s would have been my reasonable college kind of time. You can't find the mine, that is the hint. Oh, good. That's a good hint. That saves me some time. So, it seems like... Oh, you know what? Let's go back and talk to our buddy down here again, real quick. I wonder what the horseshoe thing is all about. Of course, there's all these horse themes, right? You've got Equus Oils that's shaped like a horse. You've got a horseshoe when you move. There was horses at the other place. So we're getting a lot of horse iconography. But I'm not sure what that's symbolic of. Maybe the developers just liked horses. Scene 5. Equus Oils. The other guy's gone now. Interesting.
Well, here you are.
Where did Mr. Carrington go?
Oh yeah, his tow truck came, so he gassed up and left. He's awfully proud of that car. Yeah, I guess he's back out looking for a venue. He said he hoped to run into you again, though. Or maybe we'll hear about it on the radio. I'll keep an ear on it for you.
Thanks, Joseph. An ear on it. Yeah. He's always talking about hearing. You're right. It sure is from a specific moment in time. Really? What does that mean?
Found your game in that museum's archives.
Yeah, if I had my way, I'd tear the building down. You still have that? Well, damn. You know, I think that's about the best thing I ever did. Nobody's played it. Someday I'll have to tell you about my friend Donald. We worked together on that one. Halfway through, we kind of fell out. So that's why the game ends so weird. You know, one day I'll have to tell you about that.
I'm intrigued. A specific indie scene and moment in time for that indie scene. But those games ranged from like the 70s through the 2010s. It was such a long period of time that those things were from. I kind of want to look at this message again. Donald, yeah. Okay, so now we know they had a love polygon or whatever. Okay. Interesting. This game is very, very intriguing. It's got a style, a presentation style, and by that I don't mean the graphics. I mean just how the game tells the story to you, I guess. That feels a little bit off-putting, but not necessarily in a bad way. More in just a sort of a unique way. I guess we're going to go to the overpass now. Calls to mind a specific era in my life then? Okay, that makes sense. How old were you during this specific era? I'm 42, almost 43, and I feel that the times in my life that have the most emotional and psychological salience for me as a person were all my teens and early 20s. Everything after that just feels like a big gray mush of nothingness. And before that seems like kind of just a mush of unhappiness with no way to do anything about it. Timelines are real rough for me. Very poor memory, unfortunately. Okay. That's fine. Alright. Shall we do the on-ramp? Or shall we do ice time? That's right. It's ice time. It's ice time! It's ice time! It's ice time! It's ice time! Ice time! Ice time! It is time for ice! I said it's ice time! It's ice time! It's ice time! It's ice time! Ice time! Ice time! It is time for ice! Hashtag ice time. Alright, we got some ice. I know you were all very concerned about the state of my ice. But, we got it, folks. Let's bust out a little more Big K Cola O. Remember events things, can't put them in any order, really? Yeah, I have some issues like that due to the fact that I'm schizoaffective. Especially in my earlier life when my symptoms were real bad and I wasn't taking the right medications to, you know, tamp down the psychosis stuff. It gets real dodgy for me. Usually when people have real jumbled up memories, it's either because of mental illness or because they did a lot of drugs or something. ADHD, okay. Yeah, I don't have any experience with that, but I'm sure it's a challenge, just like many things. Alright, I guess we're going to get on the on-ramp right now and see what happens. Scene 6. Elkhorn Valley. Let's keep talking to the dog every chance we get. Conway brushes some dirt off Homer's hat. How's it going, Homer?
Hey, you got something on your hat. Did you pick that up on the road? You like it out here, don't you? Picking up strange dirt on the road.
Who wouldn't? This place is... And this game is very atmospheric. Like, it's so minimalistic, but at the same time immersive and expressive. It's definitely an art game. We're entering some weird thing right now. And we're at scene 7, apparently. Elkhorn Mine. Oh! You had to go to the mine. You had to go to the on-ramp to get to the mine. Supposed to read as a trick, I guess? Yeah. Yeah, they tricked me. Okay, that's fine. Shannon speaks into the large brick cell phone held up to her ear. Wait. I'm playing Shannon now? That's an unexpected switch. Okay. And with no context whatsoever, I'm just picking an option here. Yeah, this is very interesting. No, it's fine. I'll figure it out. Inaudible. Inaudible. Game starts playing with perspectives in really interesting ways. Yeah. I guess he can't kick me out for just another week or two. For another week or two, there was no just. Inaudible. Yes, and I appreciate that, but... Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Love you. No idea who she's talking to. Shannon hangs up the phone and puts it away. That was so random. Oh, and now here's... Okay, now I'm talking to Conway, and he's the NPC, basically. Man, this game is weird. Excuse me, ma'am. I saw the light was on, and I'm looking for the on-ramp, too. Do you believe in ghosts? Well, let's see. I do believe a place can be haunted, if that's what you mean. What about a person? Can a person be haunted? Sure, I guess a person could. Sometimes I feel haunted myself. What haunts you? Bad decisions, I guess. Wasted youth. Well, look. I relate to this. Here's what it is. I drive deliveries for a shop called Lisette's Antiques, and I'm out trying to finish this job. Haunted by poultrygeists. Gotta watch out for those poultrygeists. What kind of stuff are you hauling? Antiques. Good stuff. Lisette has a sharp eye for the little good it's done her lately. You know, it's just one recession after another. Everybody's selling their old stuff cheap, but nobody's really buying.
I have a delivery for 5 Dogwood Drive, and I can't remember ever seeing that address before. Now I heard I need to take a highway called the Zero. So I met this young lady, name of Weaver Marquez, and she sent me this way. So here I am. Uncommon kind of place for an on-ramp. But that's what it's been like so far anyway with...
What?
Weaver Marquez. Do you know her?
So you saw her tonight? I know Weaver. She's my cousin. I'm Shannon Marquez.
Oh, you're the one who fixes televisions.
That's right. Did she tell you that too? Of course she did. Weaver doesn't lie. One time when we were younger, she told me my dad had been in a terrible car wreck. There was crushed metal everywhere, and we'd be hearing it echo through the house for years, she said. I was very upset, crying. And then my dad walked in the door, just come back from a trip to the junkyard collecting scrap metal to fashion into wind chimes.
We'd be hearing the metal echo through the house for years. Huh. He was somewhere with crushed metal everywhere, i.e. the junkyard. So it wasn't exactly a lie, it was just a very poetic telling of the truth. So she is a prophet of sorts.
I was angry, but she said it wasn't a joke and it wasn't a lie. At the time I thought she meant it as a riddle or a puzzle. But Weaver's not a puzzle. She's a mystery.
So, what are you doing down here, Shannon?
I talked to Weaver earlier this evening, too. Or anyway, she talked to me. It's hard to tell if she's listening sometimes. Weaver told me I had to come down here to the old Elkhorn mine. She said I'd find something I've been looking for.
What are you looking for?
I'm not exactly sure. I have a few ideas. I'll know it when I see it. It's not such a bad thing you showing up now. All told, I'd rather not go down there alone. Your dog should stay up here, though. It's no place for a dog. This is an old mine. It runs pretty deep and tangled. If we're going to go down into it, find your on-ramp and whatever else, we got to keep our bearings. I don't want to get turned around.
Yeah, getting lost in a labyrinthine mine sounds like a bad way to go.
I've got some gear here to measure conductivity, frequency response, stuff like that. Maybe we can find a way to put a signal out ahead, do some analysis, and figure out what kind of topology we're up against.
Topology. Okay.
Topology. That's a science of continuous space, my friend. The way this twisty maze of passages fits together.
Ah, the science of continuous space. Got it.
Don't got it.
What does that say? No work tomorrow. Tomorrow comes today. PA.
That runs into the mine's PA system. You think it still works?
The little light on the front of it is off.
Oh, there's no power. Yeah, okay. Even when this old mine was up and running, it was tricky to keep stuff powered. You know, the miners used to have to pay just to run the fans and the lights. Yeah, they got paid in these shitty plastic tokens. Coal script, you know? And if you want to run the fans for a bit to clear the air up, well, you have to put a token in.
Wow. That's fucking evil. That is some Outer Worlds, like, evil-ass corporation shit right there. Work demons.
My parents used to work here. So did Weaver's parents. I guess a lot of folks' parents worked here.
Spacer's choice, right? There's a lot of stuff about power in this game, like literal electrical power. Everything's dark, the power's off. You got to restore the power, you know, etc. And then there's the 2 power station places that we found, or power offices, plus the message on his computer from the power company. There's a lot of power stuff in this, like, and it's all shitty, right? Like, this is a world where electricity is apparently not your friend or a reliable thing. The company is literally called the Consolidated Power Company. It's not subtle. Yeah. Yeah, like this fucking dystopian-ish sort of conglomerate has eaten up all the local power companies and they're basically fucklords. Can we power it up?
I bet we just have to free up some power for the PA system. Everything is rationed. Here, set up that lamp of yours and I'll go unplug these ceiling lights.
Wait, I have the lamp? Glare silently. I was trying to think of something clever to say.
I heard the speakers back here crackle a bit. It's on now, right? Try saying something into the mouthpiece.
Well...
Okay, I hear you.
I can be heard.
We need to measure the echo delay time and figure out how deep the tunnels run. Just make some noises into the mouthpiece.
Can I beatbox? I'll tap it. That was 7 echoes. That was a lot more echoes, getting further and further away.
Damn, that's a long delay. These tunnels run deep. I bet some of them have ruptured or joined up with a cave system. Alright, I set up my spectrum analyzer, so just say something into the mouthpiece and we can get a sense for how narrow the mine tunnels are.
See, I've already forgotten the name of the science we're allegedly using here. Topology? Hashtag topology.
Don't be shy, just say anything that comes into your head. Tell me a story about something, or what did you have for breakfast today?
Here is a story. Here's a story. I used to work during roof repair. Right? We had the flashback about that. I'm not sure that this PA is functioning correctly. We even fixed up a church roof once. It seemed like a big project, but doable. Some Disco Elysium options here.
But then a thunderstorm hit, and it was too late anyhow. Got it. Looks like the tunnels are pretty cramped. Yeah, low ceilings. Hope you're ready to stoop a bit. You're probably used to it. One more test. We just need to know if the air is breathable, or if it's too thin or too dense. Just sit real close to the mouthpiece and breathe. This seems like very pseudoscience right now. I'll measure the resonance of your breath with the air in the tunnels. Hashtag making shit up. Just try to relax. Try to breathe naturally. I'll think about the road. It's not a relaxing sound. I'll remember a moment when I was younger. Alright. This is like the PA of Cthulhu. I'm putting this thing down. It's making horrific sounds. I don't trust it. Getting some pretty strong readings here. I think we're in good shape, but keep at it for a minute. I'll visualize a cold drink. Conway breathes and relaxes as a peal of feedback and loose rock engulfs him. This has gotten deeply disturbing all of a sudden. Game over. Your life and your quest end here. You have died in a cave-in. Scene 8. You are now in purgatory. Elkhorn Mine. There. Jesus, are you alright? What the hell? I'm okay. I've got you. You're alright. Shit, your leg is pinned. I'm gonna pull you out. We have to get you out of here. There you go. Okay, are you hurt? Can you put any weight on that leg? It's fine. Just try to stand up. Careful, I'm right here. Damn! Don't worry, I got you. That leg's in bad shape. Here, let's get you onto the tram. Now there's a tram. There you go. Now, let's see if this thing has power. Well, okay. There's some luck, right? We should be able to ride this tram right out one of the auxiliary exits. If there are any. I think there are. That's really confident. What about Weaver? We'll just find the exit and then figure out what to do from there. That's our first priority. So, the controls are over on your side. Let's get moving. Oh wow, okay. We're doing some legitimate tramming here. So much tramming. Turntable. Slow your roll. Slow your roll. Slow your literal roll.
Is that a boat? There's a boat down here with oars. There's a coffin. The fuck? And there's a, like a scarecrow type of situation here as well.
Oh, here we are. This may be hard to believe. It's hard for me to believe myself. But this whole branch was underwater last I heard. How did that happen? Some careless miner or some unattended machine bored through into an underground lake. The water came in pretty fast. A lot of folks got trapped in the tunnels. I only heard parts of how it went from there. Sanitized for the bereaved. You know how these big companies are. But there was gossip too. The trapped miners couldn't get the pumps going because the power was rationed. So they shut all the lights off. But even then it wasn't enough. Oh, that is fucked. That's not good. So I guess it was dark when they... You lost some people down here, didn't you? We all lost people down here. Well, not all of us, but most of us. It doesn't matter now. Look, this old turntable is still wired up. The controls are dead, but I can use my signal generator to switch tracks if the water hasn't damaged it too much. Or we can just keep heading down this tunnel. All this junk hanging up around the turntable is from the company store. Just junk, you know. The miners would buy it and use it to decorate the place. Or as landmarks, I guess. Hard to know which way is which down here. It's all so dim and gray. Space will give you a map for this part. Okay, that's cool. Shannon connects 2 clip leads from her signal generator to the turntable's electrical panel. We're on the track between the animal bones and the rowboat, so... Tuning. The pendulum and the casket. The bat feeder and the scarecrow. I think I get it. Oh, it does give me a nice little... Is there anything else in my notebook? Okay. Bones, the boat, the scarecrow, the feeder. I don't see the pendulum list. Oh, maintenance record. Tram 5. So we're between the casket and the animal bones and the rowboat is the way we came in. The bat feeder and the scarecrow. Okay. So let's go this way first. Since we turned, we should be going down a different tunnel than the one we came in on. I'm assuming. Definitely a different tunnel. A stage. Damn, it's almost totally intact. I thought it would have been destroyed. What is this place? It's a recording studio, basically. Kind of thrown together, but...
Okay, inside a mine is the weirdest place to have a recording studio.
When this mine was active, a couple of folk music archivists spent time here recording miner songs. Really academic ivory tower types. None of the miners really talked to him much. So they stayed at the margins, observed, took notes, and then sometimes they'd get someone on a lunch break to sing into their microphone. Then I guess the power company got some kind of interest in the project and gave the archivists some coal script tokens to pay the miners with for their songs. This sounds like somebody was getting screwed. What do you think the archivists were after? Data, I guess? Comparing intonation, subject matter, diction. You know, all those little details that no one really thinks about when they listen to music. Yeah, academics are great at that stuff. Let's get out of here.
This game is deeply unique. I'll say that for it. Very trippy, yeah. It's cool. It's really well done. Tape player here. A dusty reel-to-reel tape player is stashed beneath the track, loaded with tape but starved for power. Huh. Wonder if there's some way I can power it up. Unsteadily plays an old... Okay, think about how sort of unnerving this experience would be. You're deep underground in a mine, a strange mine that you've never been in, and it's pitch black, and you're listening to this.
Oh, I didn't know those were still down here. What was that? Look, there's a tape player down there. One of those old reel-to-reel setups. They'd record up on that old scaffolding we saw, and I guess then they'd sequester themselves down here to listen to the recorded songs. Did your parents sing? Oh, yeah, they sang. They sang in the mine for coal script tokens.
Nope. I'm feeling a lot of nope. Sing for tokens to keep the air filter running. Yeah. 2 turntables and a microphone. Okay, you know which way we haven't gone yet? We haven't gone right on the original track that we were on, if there is such a way. So let's go back to Animal Bones and Rowboat, which was our original ingress into the area. Oh, the map will tell you where you've been? That's nice. Ah, the tape and the stage. Okay. Good. Right, so we haven't been over this way. Whoa, 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 whoa. Did you guys just see a silhouette of some lurking... Yeah, oh, we're definitely getting lurking silhouettes here when I turn the light off. Well, okay, now we're not, but we did. Metaphorically haunted by the ghosts of the dead miners, and also literally haunted by the ghosts of the dead miners. Reasonable, as you would expect. Oh. Well, I don't want to go to the exit yet. I got two other directions to explore. It's not a particularly swift conveyance, is it? All right. So now we can check out that other direction, which is the bat feeder and the scarecrow. Do you hear that? Kind of a muffled rumbling. Maybe we're near water? Could be. There was an underground lake around here years ago. I guess that's why they stopped digging so abruptly here. Yeah. Ghosts of the dead miners.
Tracks are all messed up here. This tram isn't gonna go any further. I wonder what's down that tunnel.
Yeah, well, I guess we don't get to find out right now. Or likely ever. So now we'll go back and we'll go to the actual exit because we've been everywhere. Back to Animal Bones and Rowboat. Two turntables and a microphone. How does one save the game? Do you just quit and it automatically saves you wherever you are? Or does it just have like checkpoints or something? Thank God. Okay. Let's go. The end of Act 1 is coming up pretty quick. Okay. Yeah, okay. That tunnel where the tracks were broken, I'd like to take a look down there. I can choose a Conway dialogue or a Shannon dialogue here. That's interesting. Why wouldn't I go with her? Oh, that's right. My leg is hurt. My leg is hurt. If you wait for me here, I'll just go take another look around. Sure. Okay. I'll be right here. Casually striding in a mine. Oh. She's got a flashlight. Well, not exactly a flashlight, but a light. There's a bunch of helmets here. Oh, that doesn't look great. What's happening here? There's the doggo. Am I back to being Conway? Am I not actually waiting for her? The cramped shack is lined with wooden shelves. Dusty stacks of tape reels and notebooks crowd the room, but a bit of moonlight filters through a window near the ceiling. On a small desk in the middle of the room lay 3 notebooks. The red one is labeled J. Marquez, the green one is labeled R. Marquez, and the blue one is unlabeled. Conway opens the blue notebook. The notebook is full of Greek letters and cryptic mathematical formulas. Near the back of the book, what first looks like it might be an esoteric German shorthand is actually a love poem written in anagrams. I wonder if this was Weaver's notebook. The pages are covered in disorganized notes, some written horizontally and others scribbled vertically into margins. A few pages are lined more evenly and divided up into charts correlating seasons, lyrics, harmonies, and coal hauls. Conway opens the green notebook. On each page is a delicately rendered charcoal drawing. Most are portraits of rugged faces. Near the middle of the book, there are a few drawings of a young girl in a miner's helmet. She plays along the minecart tracks, collecting pieces of... Oh yeah, this place. Oh, where did Shannon come from? These notebooks are labeled Marquez. Your parents are the archivists? No, Weaver's parents are the archivists. My parents were miners. How's the leg? I can walk on it, but it's painful. Oh, I got some painkillers here that could help you out. I got them from a friend when I sprained my wrist installing a security system. You better let me drive, though. They're pretty strong. Yeah, maybe that's best. Don't worry, I've been driving since I was 9. As one does. I still need to find the 0. Well, it's like I told you. Weaver doesn't lie. If she sent you here to find your on-ramp, this is where you should be looking. Or maybe you just weren't listening closely enough, and that's not exactly what she said. I saw Weaver at my workshop. That's up north by Lake Nolan, right at Wax and Peonia, in the back of a bait shop. Pretty glamorous, right? These are the times we live in. Yeah, I've been to her workshop, or to the bait shop. She's either up there or back at the farmhouse. Whichever you want to head to first, just let me know. So now both of them are moving around together. This thing is waving in the wind in a very alarming way. Here's Homer. Homer, this is Shannon. Nice to meet you, Homer. I got some dried banana slices in my bag. Would you like one? Take care of your friend here, and there's more where that came from. So now Shannon can have one-way conversations with the dog. It's good. So this, I presume, makes us have a conversation, and this takes us back to the map. I don't suppose there's anything new in the field notes. Lisette's Antiques. I guess this is your truck? Surprised? It's kind of old. No, I'm not surprised. I guess it's an antique too. I think it suits you. I don't know that that's a compliment exactly. Conway has places to go. So we could go back to the farm or to the bait shop. But now Shannon's with us. So I don't know if like there'll be different things. If I were to quit right now, what happens in terms of... Act 1, continue, restart. Scene 8. Alright, it puts us back where we were, basically. Cool. Alright, well, that is about as much time as I have for this particular stream, this particular episode. So I am going to step on out of here. But I'm enjoying it so far. It's very cool. Thank you for watching. This has been Josiah Plays Kentucky Route Zero.